There was a moment, one single meeting, where Blockbuster could have bought Netflix for $50 million. They laughed them out of the room. 10 years later, Netflix was worth $20 billion. Blockbuster was bankrupt, drowning in debt, and closing its last stores one by one. The employees didn't even see it coming. The executives did, and did nothing. This is the story of the greatest corporate failure in modern history. And it didn't happen because of bad luck. It happened because of arrogance, denial, and one decision that defied all logic. But here's what nobody talks about. Blockbuster actually had the chance to win, multiple times. They had the customers, the brand, the cash. They could see Netflix growing. They built a product that was beating Netflix at its own game. And then their own leadership destroyed it from the inside. So the real question isn't how Blockbuster failed. The real question is, how does a company watch itself die in slow motion and choose to do nothing? The answer will change how you think about every business you've ever trusted. To understand the fall, you have to understand how high they climbed. It's 1985. A man named David Cook opens a single video rental store in Dallas, Texas. No gimmicks. Just a clean, well-lit space with thousands of VHS tapes organized on shelves, a blue and yellow logo, and one powerful idea: selection. Before Blockbuster, video rental stores were dingy, disorganized, often adult-oriented shops with maybe a few hundred titles stuffed into cramped spaces. Cook changed the format entirely. He used inventory software, revolutionary for retail at the time, to track every single tape, predict demand, and stock what people actually wanted to watch. Customers walked in and felt something they hadn't felt before: control. You could find any movie. You could browse for an hour. You could bring your kids. It wasn't just a store, it was an experience. Within 3 years, Blockbuster had 400 locations. Then a man named Wayne Huizenga entered the picture, and everything changed. Huizenga wasn't a tech visionary or a Hollywood insider. He was a businessman who understood one thing better than almost anyone alive: how to scale. He'd already built waste management into a billion-dollar company by buying up small trash collection businesses and rolling them into one giant operation. He looked at Blockbuster and saw the same opportunity: fragmented local video stores ripe for consolidation. He bought a majority stake in 1987. Then he went to work. New stores opened at a rate that seemed physically impossible. At Blockbuster's peak growth, a new location was opening somewhere in America every 17 hours. By the early 1990s, there were thousands of stores across the country, then across the world. Blockbuster moved into Canada, Europe, Latin America, Australia. The revenue was staggering. By 1994, the company was generating over $1 billion a year. Huizenga sold Blockbuster to Viacom that same year for nearly $9 billion, one of the most profitable exits in entertainment history. Blockbuster was now a cultural institution. Friday night meant going to Blockbuster. It was the ritual of an entire generation. Parents and kids walking the aisles together, debating between comedies and thrillers, clutching blue plastic cases. The brand wasn't just powerful, it felt permanent. That feeling would prove to be their most dangerous blind spot. In 1997, a man named Reed Hastings returned a copy of Apollo 13 to his local video store. He was 40 days late. The late fee, $40. Hastings was embarrassed. Then he was angry. Then he started thinking, why was this still how it worked? Why were customers being punished for enjoying a product? The fee structure wasn't designed for the customer. It was designed to extract money from them. And Blockbuster depended on it. Late fees were generating close to $1 billion a year in revenue, nearly 16% of their total income. Hastings and his co-founder Mark Randolph launched Netflix in 1998 as a DVD by mail service with no late fees. You picked movies online, they arrived in your mailbox in iconic red envelopes. You sent them back when you were ready. No deadlines, no penalties. It was a small company, barely a blip compared to Blockbuster's empire. But it was solving a real problem, and customers noticed. Meanwhile, inside Blockbuster's headquarters in Dallas, the response was almost nothing. Executives glanced at Netflix and moved on. DVD by mail felt niche, clunky, limited. Who wanted to wait days for a movie when you could drive to the corner and have it tonight? That logic wasn't wrong, but it was dangerously short-term, because Hastings wasn't building a DVD delivery company. He was building a direct relationship with customers, one that didn't depend on geography, inventory limits, or punishing late fees. He was building infrastructure for something much bigger. Blockbuster couldn't see it, or wouldn't by 2000. Netflix was struggling. The dot-com bubble had burst, the company was burning cash, and Hastings was genuinely worried about survival. So he flew to Dallas. He walked into Blockbuster headquarters and made a proposal. Let us run your online business. We handle the digital and mail side. You keep the stores. We partner. We split the revenue. Everybody wins. The asking price, $50 million. The Blockbuster executives laughed, literally laughed. To them, Netflix was a niche startup barely staying alive. Why would Blockbuster, with 6,000 stores, 60 million customers, and billions in revenue, pay $50 million for that? It was the most expensive laugh in business history. And what makes it worse is that the people laughing knew something was changing. Streaming technology was advancing. Broadband internet was spreading into American homes. DVD was exploding in popularity. The signals were everywhere. They just didn't believe it applied to them. The man who finally understood the danger was named John Antioco. He became Blockbuster's CEO in 1997, and by the early 2000s, he was watching Netflix's subscriber numbers with growing unease.